Welcome to part 2 of my visualizer series, animating materials, scene setup, and compositing. Alright, welcome back again. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to set up some like a custom scene for your visualizer and some cycles, materials to make it look really nice, and then we're going to end with a quick composite to add a little bit of a special effect to our visualizer. If you're new to this, I recommend you check out my other video in the top right hand. It'll get you all set up, run through the basics, everything you need to know from Blender if you've never even used it before. But we're going to jump right on in here. All right, let's launch into a default scene here. Delete the basic cube. And we're going to create the visualizer base again. Go over to Scene tab. You're going to scroll down, create visualizer base. Okay, there it is. You're going to go 1 to look at its side, 5 for orthographic on your numpad. Now we're looking at the visualizer. Scroll in here, zoom in. We're just going to look at it a little closer. Okay. First things first, you want to bake some sound to it so we can see what's going on. Can you use some dummy sound I have here? Yeah, let's go with that. Okay, and then you click Bake Animation Data. Just wait a second here while it loads. All right, we're good to go here. Scrubbing through it. Yep, we got lots of stuff moving on. All right, that's good. Okay, next we're gonna set up our custom material for this. The first thing you want to do is go Blender Cycles Render. This is the Cycles renderer versus just the Blender standard. So that allows us to use nodes and some custom materials here. Select one bar stack where we're going to create our material. Go to Materials here. Click New Material. And then you're going to go to the bottom left here. Back to the node editor. Go in. We don't need this. Delete that. Okay. We're going to add a geometry node. Put that right there. Then we're going to add a separate XYZ node right here. Position the vector. Then we're going to add a math node. And that's going to be Z to the first value. Switch the math node to multiply. And then we're going to go 0.2. You can adjust that later. And then we're going to add a color ramp. Yep, there's the color ramp. Connect that into the FAC, move this over. And then we're going to add an emission node. In case you don't know, in Cycles, an emission node is actually it's actually a light. So it's going to be somewhat lit. Okay. Basic material setup. Let's just switch it to materials so we can see what we're doing here. Yep. First thing you want to do, click here at the bottom. It's black. This is going to be your base color for the visualizer. The bottom. I'm going to go with a blue. And then you click on the top pin. And then I'm going to make that red. You can make it whatever you want though, obviously. And that's that. Okay, now we need to apply this material to all the other bars on this visualizer. So we're going to select them again. We're going to use B box select. Hold shift and we're click the last one and then Control L and materials. There we go. Our basic material is set up. Now we're going to open the timeline, just scrub through, see how things are looking. It's looking pretty good. I don't like how there's not a lot of purple. I want a little more purple in between and just like pure red at the top. So we're just going to jump back into the material. Okay. I think I'm going to add a middle point in the center here. You can see me adjusting it, what's changing there. So maybe something like that. Bring the red down just a bit so we actually have pure red at the very tip, max energy for the visualizer. And that's the basic setup for the material. We may come back to it later when we're looking at it in like full rendered view, but now I want to set up a bit of the scene just to kind of put it in context. Okay. Okay, we're going to add a base plane at the bottom. So Shift A, Mesh, Plane. Maybe something like that. Let's align it with the bottom. Let's get the camera going here. So Control Alt 0 to snap the camera in. Bit of position. That looks good. Let's go to the side. I like when my camera is rotated up a little bit in this scenario, I think. We're going to bring it down again. Yeah, something like that. Okay, now let's add a material to that base plane. I'm going to make it a little bit reflective and glossy so that you're seeing the light from the visualizer reflecting off it and then into the camera. I think that's a cool effect. Back to the node editor quick. Add a new material. Leave that there. We're going to add in a mix shader. Drop that in. And then we're going to add in a glossy. Yeah, right there. Quickly, we'll go in rendered here. I like when it's almost a perfect reflection, but just shy of it. So maybe something like this, 0.04. That's looking close. We want the diffuse to be actually dark glossy. And then we want the world to be less bright too. So you go to the world node. I'm just going to drag this down till we like it. You want it to be almost as dark as the plane, but just a tiny bit lighter, like a little bit variation of dark, so it doesn't look all the same. It's subtle, but counts for something. Okay. I'm thinking I like how it looks. It's a little bit of a glossy reflection at the bottom. Material set up. Let's just scrub through it again. Just see a couple different locations. Wow, I clicked right back on the node editor. Timeline. Cool. So on a decently bright spot here to set up the last stage of this, the special effect. Okay, so now we want to add a bit of like a glow to the bars. And to do that, you just go from default to compositing. Now we're in the compositor. Use backdrop, use nodes. And then we need to give it a quick render. We want to do this in GPU compute. Render it. This is a quick one. You want to do more high quality when you're actually, rendering out your final. Okay, let's start building this while we're waiting. First thing you're going to want is a viewer node. There. This is so you can see it in the backdrop a little bigger. And then you're going to add we're going to add a filter, glare, and then you select fog glow from that. Drop that in there. Drop this output to our viewer. Yep. And then min stays at 0. Throw that on high. We'll tweak that later. Size 9 or 8, something like that. And then you just drag down the threshold till you start to see some fog glow in there. Yeah. Let's try 9. This is the size of it. It kind of gives you like how much you're getting. So, yeah. I guess that choice is yours. It's a little hard to tell what looks better. Yeah, threshold seems to have to be on 0 to get it. Let's go with that. And with that, you have your finished product.